Hey guys, it's Thomas again. I'm here with another video for you. Today, I've got some Zendikar Rising packs, and I actually have, let's see, I think I got 11 of these. So, if you saw the previous video, I've done some pre-release packs, 2 of them live at Mind Games. The first night at Mind Games, which was this last Friday, I ended up winning that. I went undefeated 4-0 with that deck I made. And I walked home with 10 packs plus a showing up pack. So I got 11 packs here to open for you. And hopefully I'll have the collector's boosters for you next week, as they don't officially release until the set drops. So all I have for you at this time are these boosters. So, let me get right into it. A little out of breath here. Ooh. Okay, let's get going. Right into this. Let's see, he's got the pull tab, nice. I like the pull tab ones, the Japanese style ones. Let's see. Yep, so tokens are in the back. Let's see, how do I want to do this? Let's get the fun stuff in the back. Okay, here we go. Okay, so first off, we have, ooh, so notice this leg, the camera was there. Should be able to see it now. Ooh. Adjusting, there we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so we got Blight Priest. We got Anti-Cognition, Expedition Skulker, Jorga Visionary, Pressure Point, Royal Mage, Bright Blade, Tormenting Voice, Geyser Mage, McKindy Ox. Our first uncommon is an Akum Warrior. We have a Relic Vial. We got a Fireblade Charger. And we have a Nissa of the Shadowed Boughs. Oh man, look at that art. Let's get a good look at that. This is one of the nicer planeswalkers. This is definitely a great planeswalker. She's 2, a black and a green, landfall. Whenever a land ETBs under my control, I put a loyalty counter on this of Shadowed Boughs. You can +1 her, untap target land you control. You may have it become a 3/3 elemental creature with haste and menace until on the turn it still lands. So they don't stay as lands, but it still gives her... It still is fairly strong, gives you a 3/3, and the fact it has menace also makes it a bit of a pain. You can -5 her. You may put a creature card with CMC less than or equal to the number of lands you control into the battlefield from your hand or graveyard with 2 1/1 counters on it. Now, what's great about this set is that the, in limited at least, black and green have a very heavy focus on 1/1 counter generation. And I think there's enough support with it in Standard that it could be a fairly strong deck. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that turns out. So we're going to slide her in our Statue of Dragon, our Dragon of Liberty sleeves. So, I can remember which way to open them. There we go. And so, pack 1 right out of the gates, a Mythic. Can't complain. Cannot complain. So let's just divvy up the uncommons, commons, and I think I missed, and we got our land, and then we got our token. So I found out that there are 9 of these tokens, and they all have slightly different backgrounds, and if you combine them, they make, like the set art. And I found, of course, I'm not the one who discovered that. That was from the fine folks over at Reddit, but it's still really cool. I'll see, hopefully I'll be able to get a link to one of those posts, but I think I missed this Fireblade Charger, not sure if I showed that off. So let's keep going, see what else I mean, we're already off to a great start. Oh yeah, pull tabs, I always forget about that. So, look at my trash can, let me just grab my trash can real quick. Closer. Okay. So let's see. I'm gonna just fix this real quick. You guys will be surprised by what we end up pulling. Okay, let's take a look here. We've got Oblivion's Hunger, Seafloor Stalker, Solidarity, Outrider, Marasa Brute, Expedition Healer, Nahiri's Binding, Molten Blast, Risen Riptide, Merfolk Falconer is our first uncommon. We cast a kick spell, scry 2. Neat. We have Paired Tactician. Got Spoils of Adventure. And our rare is a Bright Climb Pathway. That's the Orzhov Modal Face land. Nice pull. And then we got a foil. We have a foil core Blade Master. Not bad. Double strike. Equipped warriors you control have double strike. Neat. We got our forest, and then we got our token. Okay, let's keep going. Let's see, what am I hoping to pull? Well, any of the mythics, of course. We already got Nissa, so that's great. Scoot Swarm is another one I'm looking forward to. Quite a few others. Let's see, so that's a token. That's the land. Let's see, that should be the rare. Uncommon, uncommon. Alright, let's try it like this. So, unfortunately, I kind of already spoiled. The problem with these double face cards is that they're kind of hard to deal with. So first we have a plains, then we got the token. Oh shit, did I screw that up? Oh damn. Okay, Throne of McKindy's are rare. This one, this is a land I really don't know how to feel about. You can dump mana into it. You can remove a charge counter from it. You can add 2 mana of any one color. You can only spend this mana only to cast kick spells. I could see this maybe being used in an EDH kicker deck. Maybe. I just don't think it's that great. Maybe as an uncommon it would have been better. I really don't see why this was printed as a rare. We'll have to see. I don't really think it's going to see standard play. It might see fringe EDH play. So I'm going to put the non-land rares over here. Oh, we got Bayou Vale, Concerted Defense, Luminarch Aspirant. Okay, that's why. So we've got the foil Luminarch Aspirant. It's a nice one. I like it. Anyways. Jeez. But I like these modal cards. I think they're great, and I love the art that they do for them. So we got Concerted Defense, counter target non-creature spell, party Luminarch Aspirant as our rare, Marasa Rookraiser. We got all these guys. Sharu, Expedition, Deliberate, Scythe Can. Okay. Got too many piles going on. Anyways, let's keep going. So we've got the pull tab. Oh, that opened nicely. Okay, we'll get right to it. We've got a core token, our Atlantis Mountain, and we have Kaza Royal Chaser as our next rare. Is it colors, legendary creature, human wizard, flying haste, tapper. Next instant sorcery spell you cast costs X less to cast, where X is the number of wizards you control as this ability resolves. So, with this card, I think currently in Standard, it doesn't have quite the support it wants. However, with the fact that Strixhaven is going to be our spring set, and I am fairly confident that quite a few of the creature types are going to be wizards. I think it'll see support once that set releases. So I'm definitely gonna get a hold of a playset of these. I think it definitely has potential, and I think currently there is enough to support an Is It spell slinging. It's just that specifically with the wizard creature archetype, especially since we just had, since we're having core 20 up until core 20 past is rotating out. There's definitely going to be less wizard support. I think a lot of wizards came from the Ravnica sets. Let's see. There were probably some wizards. Yeah, there were a couple of blue wizards that came out of the Throne set. Theros didn't really have wizards. Ikoria had a couple, and Core 21 definitely had a few. But I think this will see some pretty great play in Standard once Strixhaven releases, and it's a set I'm personally looking forward to. All the sets this year sound amazing. Kaldheim, Strixhaven, the D&D set I think is going to be interesting to say the least. And then there's the Innistrad Werewolves and Vampires concurrent sets that are going to be next year's fall sets. So there's a lot of stuff coming out within the next year that I'm really looking forward to. So we'll have to see how everything turns out. So we've got Kalani Ambush as our next uncommon. We've got Skyclave Geopede, and we have Lithoform Blight. I don't like this card. I get what it does, but I don't know. Maybe you're playing like a land hate deck in EDH. Maybe you play this, or maybe if you really want to screw someone in Standard. But the issue is that there's currently in Standard, there's so many ways, especially with this set's release, to just ramp out lands like nobody's business, that this doesn't really affect anything. Probably the better hate spell is that blue one that forces people, if they play a land to, and it's not their first land for the turn, to pick up another land that they control. They still get their landfall triggers, but they don't get to actually keep all the mana, which I think is better targeted hate. I can't say I really like this card much, but if someone can find a great use for it, let me know. I'd be interested in finding out how to play this card. And we got our commons, Spellcraft, Beckoning, Vanquish the Weak, Resolute Strike, Duelist, Scale the Heights, Gragatog, Cascade Seer, if I can keep all my cards from flying all over, Shepherd of Heroes, Spitfire, Lagak. Alright. Let's keep going. Pack numero 4. Oh yeah, pull tab. I keep forgetting about the pull tab. Okay, let's see what we get. Okay, got our token. Have an island. I love the full art lands. We have Archon of Emeria. This is a great hate bear card. I really think I might end up playing in like a control style deck for EDH. I think it could see play maybe Standard. The issue is I think it kind of helps with the can't cast more than one spell, but that applies to yourself as well. In addition to non-basic lands, you have to find some way to kind of break the parity, I think is how they say it. You have to make it more unfavorable for your opponent than for yourself to have this card on the field. And that's one of the biggest issue with these kind of global effect hate bears, is that you have to find ways that it doesn't affect you as poorly or as much as it does your opponents. So this will be interesting. I still think it's a great card. I think EDH players will definitely play these in white decks, or at least hate-oriented decks. So we'll see. We got a Blackborn Rogue, Roiling Regrowth. Great. This is another name. This is Harrow. I think this is a great card. It's going to see play Standard. It's going to see play EDH. Decks that care about it, like Pioneer or Modern with Landfall, are going to want to run it. It's a solid spell overall. Acquisitions as Expert. We got Negate. We got Blood Price, Seagate, Colossus, Smite the Monstrous, Broken Wings, Miss the Lynx, Field Research, Turn Timber, Ascetic, and Cleansing Wildfire. This is one of the other great cards from this set. If you're running red in your landfall, you target your own lands. It's just an extra landfall trigger, replaces itself in hand. You can use it to target your opponent's, special lands. I think in maybe formats like CEDH, for like targeted hate of something like, let's say a Thespian Stage, the Merit Lodge land, or something that your opponent is using, like maybe a Rogue's Passage, Maze of If. There's good targets for this, but I think the fact that you can also use it on your own lands to get your own landfall triggers to happen again, I think is great. And then we got Into the Royal. Great reprint. I hope it's for at least 2 mythics out of these packs. I think that would be as best as I can expect. But the fact that I got Nissa already helps a lot. And it's a full art Nissa too, which is really, really nice. Okay, let's see what we got. Here's our token. Here's our... Oh, it's the Yeeting Goblin. Relic Robber. I really want to draft this in limited and kill somebody with the effect on this. So it's 2 in a red, creature Goblin Rogue. Whenever this card deals combat damage to a player, that player creates a 0/1 colorless Goblin Construct Artifact Creature token. That's a mouthful. With this creature can't block, and at the beginning of your upkeep, this creature deals 1 damage to you. So the only way that they're really going to be able to get this to die is to either have a sack outlet or to be able to buff it, swing it, and force you to kill it. But it's like the Chandra uptick from the 20 core set, where it's where she makes the emblem that at the beginning of your opponent's upkeep it deals some damage. So I think it's a fun card. I can't wait to try to make it work in limited. Let's see, we got Malakir Rebirth, Relic Axe, and Attended Healer. We've got Electromancer, Skulker, Tiger Constrictor, Jiraga Visionary, Smite the Monstrous, Utility Knife, Sizzling Barrage, Living Tempest, Deadly Alliance, and an Akum Hellhound. I like the looks of these showcase arts. I think that they're trying to make them look like old school travel posters is great. I think some of the cards really pull it off better than others. I think the 4-color Omnath is a really great example of that. And I think the one that doesn't look quite as good, I think it's probably Makindi Ox. I think the fact that it's so bland color-wise, I think it really benefits to have creatures that are bright and colorful, or at least multiple colors to really make it stand out compared to how Makindi Ox looks. But I think they're great showcase lands, and I will definitely be trying to run them in my decks when I can. So let's keep going. Okay, we've got a Drake token, a Swamp, and we have Linvala, Shield of Seagate. So she is the blue-white Azorius. She is the Azorius legendary creature. She's an angel wizard with flying 3/3, which are already pretty great stat lines. A 3 mana 3/3 with flying is pretty good. She has, at the beginning of combat on your turn, if you have a full party, which means having a rogue, a warrior, a wizard, and a cleric, you can choose a target non-land permanent an opponent controls until your next turn. It can't attack or block, and its activated abilities can't be activated. Effectively, not pacifism. It's basically it's the Nahiri's Binding enchantment. Instead this is retargetable and it triggers every turn, but it only lasts for a turn. I think it's a really great hate card. I think it'll be interesting to see people play this in decks. Standard, maybe will see it in blue white control. I think blue white out of the Zendikar set is the one to really run if you want party. It gives you access to all four party types with with decent creatures to go with it. We'll see. I think EDH. I think it'll definitely get tossed into blue white decks. I mean, the fact that you can also just sack Linvala and you can give hexproof or indestructible to something makes it even better. And then and it does it to your whole board too. So I think she's just a really great spell in creature in EDH. Because she just allows you to just protect your whole board from either a wipe or in this case, from having targeted removal. So she's situational, and I think that's really awesome. Okay, we've got Vastwood Fortification, Attended Healer, Wind Rider Wizard, and we have our Commons Silencer. I'm going to kind of go fast for these. Spell Shield, Colony, Unity, Blade, Risen Riptide, Sizzling Barrage, Living Tempest, Deadly Alliance. If only I could get these all to consistently open the same way. Okay, we got our token, we got our full art land, and we have our rare. I believe this is Clearwater and Murkwater Pathway. This is a foil. Ooh. Ooh. Nice, I'm happy with that. Yep, so we have Murkwater Pathway and we have Clearwater Pathway. It is our modal double-faced card, which is the double land, this case being Dimir, black and blue. So for those who aren't familiar with the modal face cards, the way you have to think about it is that it's a card that gives you the choice of playing either the front or the back side. For those who are familiar with the transforming cards from Innistrad, such as the werewolves, those start on one side, the side you cast it from, and then they have a trigger that if it, like, let's say, I think it's usually if no spells were cast in the previous turn, they'll transform. And when that occurs, you flip it to the other side. And there's a few cards that are similar to that where they transform and go to the other side. These ones, they don't transform. You'll never, once they hit the field, they don't get flipped. You choose what side you're playing. So in this case, I'm playing the land. For these modal cards that are like, for example, Vastwood Fortification, here you play it as the spell, and then it goes to grave, or you play it as the land, it comes in tapped, and it stays in this land for as long as it's on the field. And the way you have to treat these cards in any zone that isn't the field is that it's always based on the front side of the card. So with those spells, it's whether if it's a creature, if it's on the front, if there's a creature on the front, a spell on the front. These are just non-basic lands. So you have to. So for example, say you have to search your deck for a land. You can't just grab Vastwood Fortification because it's considered a spell in the deck, in your hand, in your graveyard. So you have to keep that in mind when you're playing, that the rulings on the like how these are considered a card and treated and how they're played, you have to kind of keep those in mind. But it also allows you for like to say bounce a spell, like say an enchantment or a creature from the field that has a land on the back. Let's say there's an effect that causes it to bounce into your hand. Once it's back in your hand, then you can recast it. So, or something that gets it out of the graveyard, So there's some really interesting ways that you can play around with these. And I think they're going to bring an interesting twist to how people consider deck building. Okay, so we've got Philidor Retreat. This is one of the better enchantments to come out of the set. 3 and a white enchantment, landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you choose one. You make a 2/2 white cat beast creature token, or you put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Those creatures gain vigilance until end of turn. This is definitely, I think this is for sure going to see standard play in like white landfall decks, either the new Omnath, or let's say, for example, let's say like green-white landfall, probably Naya, which is red-green-red landfall. And I think it's definitely a very strong card. It'll definitely see a lot of play. I know in limited it's a powerhouse. Got Zoff Consumption. Oh, so I had two of these in my first pre-release pack at Mind Games, and I can't tell you how many times I've managed to kill people with this card. This is a great spell in black. For 6 mana, I honestly don't mind the cost on this. You get this at any point in the game. It can save you, can help negate an attack in terms of your life totals. But I have honestly just drawn this and zapped somebody for 4 and 1, and it feels great. Honestly, I love this card in limited. But probably a bit too slow for standard play. Demon's Disciple. Vine Gecko. Ghastly Gloom Hunter. Spare Supplies, Tactics, Jorga Visionary, Smite the Monstrous, Utility Knife, a Molten Blast, Cunning Geyser Mage, and a Tormenting Voice. Okay. Ow. I hit my hand against the bottom of the desk there. So we got our copy token, got our land. Oh, now this is a hit. This is a hit indeed. This is our showcase art Lotus Cobra. Lotus Cobra is a green and an additional 2/1 snake. Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, add 1 mana of any color. This is a great card in green. Landfall specifically, but you get this on so the way you can do this is, let's say turn 2 you could play it down, and in turn 3 you get a land down and you have access to 4 mana. Or for example, you could play this on turn 3 before you play a land, pay the 2, put the Cobra into play, put the land down, and have access to 2 mana of your choice. So this card is nuts, and it is the only reason, not the only reason, but it is one of the reasons why landfall decks are so going to be very prominent, is the fact that this can generate so much additional mana to allow you to keep on casting spells and take advantage of it. And definitely get your playset of these cards as soon as possible. This is going to be a standard staple till it rotates out, and then even then it is a staple in lots of other decks, EDH, in Modern, Pioneer. It's just a solid card. There's no two ways about it. I would get your playset now, before this product is printed out, which probably won't be for a while, but definitely get a hold of your copies now. So I'm happy. I'm actually going to toss that in a sleeve. That is a really nice pull. And, the price probably won't be too bad, because especially if there's a lot of the Zendikar product around. But I honestly think that it's definitely going to keep us like a couple dollar price range is my best guess. Now, I'm no MTG finance wizard, but, well, I at least can have a good idea of how much these cards are going to be. Okay, and we got our commons and uncommons. Ooh, that one opened nicely. Okay. Okay, we got our token. Our forest. Ooh, we got interesting one here. Ooh, Phylath World Sculptor, 4 a green and a red. Legendary creature elemental, 5/5. When this enters the battlefield, create a 0/1 green plant creature token for each basic land you control. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you can put 4 1/1 counters on target plant you control. Yeah, this is callback to Avenger of Zendikar, or probably butchering the name. I'll have to look it up later. But it basically it makes you a whole bunch of really cheap plant tokens, and then you play lands and you make them threats. You make them 4 or 5 creatures that can swing and deal tons of damage. And red green are great colors for landfall, and you can trigger this multiple times per turn. I know that there's definitely people running this along with like Omnath and some other cards in Arena right now. And I think it's definitely a great card in EDH. I don't know if it's necessarily going to want it. You could have it be your commander, but it definitely slots into any lands matters decks like with no issue whatsoever. It's a great card overall. This set has a lot of great cards overall. See Celundi Vision, Taunting Arbor Mage, Shadow Stinger, Colossus, Sky Dancer, Spell Shield, Gnarly Colony, Unity, Blade, Zendikar, Cleric of Chill Depths, Shepherd of Heroes, Teeter Peak, Ambusher for our commons. Okay, we're down to the last 2 packs here. I think I'm making decent time. Let's keep going. So I've noticed that the modal checklist cards are definitely the most common token, which makes sense because there's always going to be one in every pack. So I guess the intent is that during draft you'll always be able to have enough of them. But so this is our plant token. Got our plains. Love the art in this set. No, it's great. And our rare is a Null Priest of Oblivion. 1 in a black, kicker, 3 in a black, menace lifelink. When this card enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, you return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So you pay 5, get a 2/1 body with menace lifelink, not bad. And then you get to bring back something from the graveyard. I think this is a great card in black. You can play it out early as a 2/1. Get your hits in early especially if you're not playing against something that's going wide. 2/1 body isn't bad. It's great for taking out typically larger bodies like 3/2s or even 2/2s. The fact that it still has value late game is amazing, and I think this is a great card. I think it'll definitely see some play in black. Definitely probably more graveyard focused decks, or at least decks that can guarantee to have the right targets in the graveyard when they need it. Now, considering that there is quite a bit of graveyard hate going around in this current standard due to having a lot of it from from Theros, Uros being the biggest reason for it. A lot of escape creatures, and then we have just general graveyard hate. We got Tormod's Crypt reprint in Core 20, But I still think this is a great card, and I think like any graveyard-focused deck is going to want to play it. Okay, we've got Umara Wizard, Thwart the Grave, Fearless Fledgling, Highborn Vampire, and, oh, that's in the wrong pile. We got Spellcraft, Sky Dancer, Zendikar, Farsight Adept, Kazandu Stomper, Royal Mage, and a Kum Hellhound, and a Cleric, and a Shepherd. And we are on last pack. This is pack number 11, if I've been keeping track of them. So if you're asking, Thomas, why don't you have even more packs? Well, because, unfortunately, with the second day, on Saturday, of doing pre-release, I went 2-2, and I got my participation pack that I opened right away. But I figured, but I can't complain, honestly. There is the aspect to sealed pre-releases like that where it is really you do have to kind of get you don't kind of. You have to get a decent pull. There are definitely ones that are much stronger. Cards are definitely stronger than others. Getting quite a few of those good cards really helps. I happened to get really lucky with my pool of cards on the first day, and I happened to get lucky in my last game, honestly. I was going up against the best player in the shop, Gage, who honestly is typically the person to beat most of the time, and even he has his bad days, everybody does, but he's always consistently either first or in the top 3 for both standard play and for limited. So, it was a win that I felt really proud of. And he gave me, it was a great game, really intense. I really wish I had the chance to record it, but my setup isn't really set up to record Magic gameplay. And that is something I am looking into. And we'll have to see, but hopefully someday I'll be able to get some footage of me and him playing. So we've got our token, we've got our land, and we've got our sure-footed infiltrator. Did I screw some? Oh, I panicked for a second, wondering where the heck our rare is. This is a foil. If you can't, I couldn't tell on the camera for a second there. Okay, so 3 and a blue. You can tap another untapped rogue you control. This card can't be blocked. Whenever this card deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Pretty good. I know people are trying to get Dimir rogues to work. I know the Jeff Hogland opened. Jeff Hogland is a professional Magic player. He's a streamer. He just held an open tournament for his subscribers and Patreon supporters, and I believe the Dimir Rogues was about 12% of the decks played, which I think was the highest percentage being played. People are really trying to make it work, but it only had a 27% win rate overall. Now, that's only one tournament, So I think it's a deck archetype that definitely has there's definitely something that people want to make work, and I think it definitely has the potential to. I'm not sure what it is. I have to go through those lists and see what people are running, what was working, what wasn't working. But honestly, rogues are definitely a archetype that's been supported for a long time. There's quite a few rogue EDH decks. So definitely, there's some really great rogues in this set. I would definitely get a hold of them if you're interested in those kinds of decks. So we have our Valakut Awakening as our rare. 2 in a red. Put any number of cards from your hand on the bottom of your library, then draw that many cards +1. And the backside is just a tap land red. I like this card. I think it's neat. It's the kind of draw that red typically likes. I think this is really great in CED and EDH decks. Probably stuff that really wants to be drawing a lot of cards. Top commander I'm thinking of is probably Locust God. Now, it does rely on you having the cards in hand in the first place, but if you're playing a deck that's focused on card draw, you're going to have a lot of them. And I think it's a great way to cycle through your cards looking for what you need, And it's put any number, so it's not your whole hand, so you can pick and choose. It really helps you filter your hand out. And I think this has potential to see play in Standard. In what kind of deck? I honestly don't know. But another commander I think would like this would be Grenzo Dungeon Warden, because he relies on having cards being stacked at the bottom of your deck. He's a very weird commander in that aspect. But I think this card has potential, and I think it's appropriate for what it does, Let's see what else we got. So we have a Disciple, Vine Gecko, Healer. We have Constrictor, Swarm, Awaits, Sellsword, a Rider, Chilling Trap, Canopy Bailiff, Akum Hellhound, and a Deliberate. So that's everything out of the packs that I got for my winnings. But I'd say we got some really nice hits. We got a showcase art Lotus Cobra and the full art Nissa of Shadowed Boughs. So honestly, I can't complain. I'm really happy with what I pulled. And I got some really great rares. I think we have some solid uncommons. Overall, I like this set. I think it's a great set for Limited. I was really enjoying what I was doing, what I was playing around with in pre-release, and I think I'm going to enjoy drafting it. And I definitely think we're going to be seeing some interesting builds and brews for Standard play, and I think there's some really great cards that have been introduced for Commander too. So my review for this set, 2 thumbs up and a big smile. I love it. I think now would be a great, if you're ever interested in trying Magic, I think this is a pretty solid set to get into. Landfall is a really popular ability from that's been in every Zendikar set that's been produced. It's one of people's people really love it. And it's a fun ability. Honestly, there's a lot of ways to get land to mess around with lands that people don't really think about, and landfall really makes people figure out how to make the most advantage out of their lands. I mean, it's really great. It really puts resource management into perspective in terms of Magic. Anyways, I'm gonna try to keep these videos short. 40 minutes is still a little on the long side. Let me know what you guys think. Tell me what you're looking forward to. Feel free to message me on Facebook, or just let me know what you're interested in seeing, what kind of products you want to see me open, or even if you just want to have a discussion video, I'd be up for that too. So, hope you guys have a great day here, and I'm signing off. See you around.